Okay, this is video number 1 on how to make kimchi. This time I bought 5 big cabbages and 2 radishes. So the first thing is you have to wilt and you're gonna wash later. So for wilting, you need a special kind of salt which is called yum, and I use 4 hands of salt per per napa cabbage. So because I bought 4 cabbages, 4 times, I bought 5 cabbages, 5 times 4 is 20. So 20 hands I use, but I use more on this because the head part is thicker and harder, and these leaves part are thinner and softer, so they need less salt. So out of 2 hands of that salt, I put 12 hands of salt here, and then 4 hands, because these 2 are the leaf part. And then so I put that amount of salt, and I'm gonna pour a couple of cups of water on the top, and I'm gonna stir after every couple of hours so that the salt spread evenly. And also these are the outermost leaves of the cabbage, and I'm gonna wash and keep the whole thing. And it's because after I make kimchi and put kimchi in the container, the top part that is exposed to the air can make a little bit of mold, or the color might fade. So to prevent that, I'm gonna use this. So if this is kimchi, I'm gonna cover like this so that these leaves, which we are not gonna eat, are exposed to the air. Although even if it is exposed to the air or even become a little bit moldy, it has nothing to do with hygiene or nutrition or flavor. It's just a matter of look. And this is 2 radish. This is 2 small radish, which in combination about the size of 1 napa cabbage. And for this, I use a couple of hands of salt. So how much radish you use, how thick you cut, how big you cut, or how long you wilt, it doesn't really matter. It's just that the longer you wilt, the crunchier the radish become. But then wilting is make the radish and cabbage lose some juice. But the juice of radish is tasty, so it's a trade-off. So how crunchy you want it to be, it all depends on you. So I just use a couple of hands of salt. And also, when you cut the radish, some people peel the radish, but I do not, because they say the skin of radish has a lot of nutrients. So if there is some dirty part, you just take that dirty part off. But other than that, I don't peel. So you see some little roots here. Another thing is radish and cabbage taste the best in late fall or early winter. And especially in summer, the radish might get slightly bitter or even a little spicy. So you taste it, and if it's too bitter or too spicy, when you wilt in salt, you might add a couple of hands of sugar. But both radish and cabbage, you don't want them to become too salty. You want them to be a little salty, but not too salty. But then again, especially cabbage, we are gonna rinse, because the radish, as long as you wash the outside, the inside is okay. So we are not gonna rinse this. But it's hard to wash cabbage, so we are gonna wash this after we are wilting. So then if you rinse the cabbage after wilting, it's gonna become less salty, obviously. So you have to put that into account. So again, in the end, we want it to be a little salty, but not too salty. And also another reason we wilt is because especially this part is so hard and thick. So when I bend it the other way, it might break. So we want it to become softer. So we're gonna wilt until when I bend it the other way, it's not gonna break. So it takes about 8 hours, if not 10 hours. So again, after a couple of hours, after each of a couple of hours, you have to stir a little bit so that the salt spreads evenly. So see you later.